everybody, welcome back to Feast in the Middle East, and due to popular demand, we are going to do a part 3 of ancient Arab cooking featuring a 10th century Arab cookbook. So this 1,000-year-old recipe will be featuring eggplant. Yep, you heard it, eggplant. Not everybody knows how to cook with eggplant, but I'm going to demystify it for you today, and it's totally worth it because this vegetable is low in calories, high in fiber, high in antioxidants, and best of all, when you cook it, it absorbs all the flavors like a sponge. And so today we're going to be pairing it with a beautiful herbaceous dressing. This recipe is called Badhinjan Muqallal, which is quick fried eggplant finished with herbs and a sharp kick of vinegar, which hits your taste buds with tangy and savory flavors. Now here's the deal. I like to buy male eggplant. What's the difference between male and female? Well, the male eggplant just has a small circle under the bottom. The female one usually has a lot of spots. So the reason why the male eggplant actually tastes better is because it has fewer seeds and less bitterness. Now, I don't know who decided that the male eggplant is supposed to taste better and look better, but that's just the way it is. In the ancient Arab worlds, this would have been served as part of a mezza feast, a big spread where there's like tons of appetizers. This would have been a nice addition to that spread. But you could eat it as a side dish any day of the week. Arabs in the 10th century really prized all of the ingredients in this recipe because the vinegar, for example, helps in digestion. The eggplant and the herbs are anti-inflammatory. And really, there's no fancy dairy, there's no fancy sauces. We are going to cook the simple way they cooked 1,000 years ago. And with that, let's get started.
Okay, here's the deal. I hope the aunties and tetas don't hate on me, but I like to peel my eggplant. You want to know why? Peeling the eggplant helps absorb the flavors and seasonings during the cooking process. Without the barrier of the skin, the flesh of the eggplant can better soak up the delicious spices and dressing that we're going to use in this recipe. And that's going to result in a more flavorful dish overall. Now, you want to slice the eggplant in about 1/2 inch thick slices and salt the eggplant. Let it sit for about 10 minutes until the eggplant sweats. You see that literal sweat right there? You want to blot that out. You can use a paper towel or a cheesecloth to do so. Now, the original recipe calls to deep fry the eggplant, which you can do if you like, but I found that deep frying eggplant allows it to absorb way too much oil for my taste. So I find that just spraying olive oil on both sides of the eggplant and air frying it yields spectacular results, so I'm sticking to it. This method is much less greasy and far fewer calories without sacrificing flavor. I like to use my air fryer. I put them at 450 degrees for about 10 minutes each side, but you could also use a conventional oven and use the broil setting for about 8 minutes each side. The important thing is you want them golden brown so they're nice and crispy on the outside while tender on the inside. Now it's time to make the dressing to go with the eggplant. First, you want to start with a couple of cloves of garlic, mince them really finely, and add them to a bowl. Then add 2 tablespoons of pomegranate molasses, 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar, and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Whisk it so that the dressing will become more emulsified and thicker. And now it's time to add the spices and herbs. Add a 1/2 teaspoon of ground cumin and then 1 teaspoon of ground coriander. Then chop up a handful of fresh mint, which is something that's been used in the ancient Arab world for millennia, followed by some crushed walnuts, which were also prized for their medicinal properties. Now it's the fun part, the assembly. Just add the dressing to the eggplant, followed by the chopped up mint, and then the walnuts. And finally, this is optional, add some pomegranate seeds. It adds a beautiful burst of color and sweet and tangy flavor. In medieval Arab cuisine, Badhinjan or eggplant was prized not just for its delicious flavor, but in this dish, the vinegar aids digestion, the herbs are anti-inflammatory, and the eggplant gives it that silky, satisfying bite. Try this just one time and it just might replace your go-to veggies for good.
My family went crazy over this recipe because you get the crispy edges of the eggplant, you get the soft interior, and the bold herbs all in under 20 minutes. This is ancient but elevated cooking that is well suited to the modern table. Now, if you want to get experimental with eggplant, check out my cookbook, Feast in the Middle East. I have a lot of eggplant recipes in here. And one I particularly recommend is this baba ganoush tart, which pairs the eggplant with savory roasted tomatoes, feta cheese, and walnuts with an almond crust. This is a beautiful dish that you can entertain with or treat yourself any day of the week. For more info, go to feastinthemiddleeast.com and order yourself a copy before they're all gone because they're limited edition. And make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you soon.
And my Patreon family, you know who you are. I love giving you the behind the scenes scoop before everyone else finds out while sharing bonus recipes with you.